I mean, we haven't really heard much from Democratic lawmakers. Yes, there's been a rally here or there. Usually those rallies are incredibly embarrassing and accomplish nothing.
In this video, Ana Kasparian of the Young Turks once again goes in on the failing Democrat Party. Ana Kasparian points out that the Democrats are receiving backlash from their supporters who feel that they aren't doing anything to combat Donald Trump and the Republicans. With that, let's watch Ana Kasparian lose her mind once again at the incompetence of the Democrat Party.
I'm trying to figure out what leverage we actually have. What leverage do we have? They control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. It's their government. What leverage do we have?
Last Friday, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, the gentleman you just heard from, seemed kind of frustrated at the notion that Democratic voters are, wanting their Democratic lawmakers to do something, to do anything, to essentially fight back against what's currently transpiring with Republicans, their efforts to advance Trump's agenda, and honestly, what's happening at the executive branch. I mean, we haven't really heard much from Democratic lawmakers. Yes, there's been a rally here or there. Usually those rallies are incredibly embarrassing and accomplish nothing. It's very clear there's no strategy in place whatsoever. And now, thanks to a new scoop from Axios, Jeffries is apparently furious with grassroots Democrats who want their elected leaders to take action. It's just so pathetic. So we'll get to that newer report momentarily, but first, a bit of context. So a week ago, Axios broke a different report stating that congressional Democrats were getting an unprecedented volume of calls to their offices. So some staffers said that they hadn't seen this many calls since seminal events like the October 7th attack, the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, or even the Trump impeachment proceedings. Now, get a load of this. Representative Mark Pocan stated, "We had the most calls we've ever had in one day last Monday in 12 years. And Representative Jim McGovern told Axios, "I can't recall ever receiving this many calls. People are disgusted with what's going on, and they want us to fight back." It's kind of amazing that they need a high volume of calls from their own constituents to understand that, their constituents would want them to do anything. But okay, some of those calls were coordinated by grassroots organizations, including Move On and Indivisible. A spokesperson for Indivisible confirmed to Axios that they did, in fact, direct people to call Democratic lawmakers. They directed them to call over 30,000.
Unprecedented number of calls because they're disgusted at what's going on with Trump's administration. Who are these people? Who at this point votes Democrat, especially a man? Does anyone out there know a man with a lick of testosterone that votes Democrat? I've got some bad news for these organizations that are directing people to call. This will do nothing. Your representatives will continue to do nothing except whine, complain, and throw dumb Chuck Schumer rallies. Like, I can't think of a single thing that would make me call my congressman unless something horrible has happened to children or something like that. But it would have to be so extreme. Who are these people that are calling? Do they have jobs and lives? They're Democrats, so I doubt it. But I understand why they're disgusted. Getting rid of government waste and trying to uncover corruption is a terrible thing to do. So how dare Trump and his administration try to do that? Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Calls to Democratic senators and over 4,000 calls to representatives in just 2 weeks. But Axios explained that congressional Democrats are not really appreciating this. They're actually pretty irritated by it. One anonymous House Democrat, and you can understand why they want to be anonymous, stated the following: "There has definitely been some tension the last few days where people felt like you're calling the wrong people. You are literally calling the wrong people." Okay, well, who are they supposed to call? Senator Richard Blumenthal is about to explain. What I think we need to do more is put the onus on Republicans so that the calls that we're getting are directed toward Republicans. Why would Republican lawmakers care about what Democratic voters think? Democratic voters aren't going to vote for them. They're voting for Democratic lawmakers who are totally abandoning them and doing nothing. Look, everyone understands that Republicans are in charge right now. Everyone understands that Donald Trump is the president and Republicans have a majority in Congress, in both the House and the Senate. We get it. But there is a clear distinction between Democrats and Republicans when the shoe is on the other foot and Republicans don't have the majority in the House or Senate, and when a Democrat is in the executive branch. They find other creative ways to fight back. But you don't see that from Democrats. That's the thing that really stands out here. And look, if they're not going to have a strategy, the least they can do is shut the F up about how irritated they are that their constituents want them to do something, but they can't help themselves. This is the thing about the Democratic Party. They loathe their base. It was clear to me all the way back in 2016 with the way Hillary Clinton and all her cronies talked about Democratic voters, and it's even clearer to me now. They feel entitled to their positions of power. They do not see themselves as public servants. They see you, the Democratic voters, as their public servants. It is disgusting. And time again, in every election cycle, dating back to 2016, all we get from Democrats is, do you really have a choice?
Talk about passing the buck. How about Blumenthal there? He's not even passing the buck to somebody in his own party. He's passing it to the entire other party. She's right. What Republican lawmaker is going to give a crap what Democrat voters want if they call them bitching at them? I mean, I think any good politician would care. What voters from both sides of the aisle care about would want to hear them out. But if they're just going to call them bitch at them, that's going to get the Democrat voters nowhere. Terrible advice. I do think this dynamic, though, is exposing, for those who haven't seen it, I don't know how you don't see it, but it's exposing the difference between the two parties. One takes action, one plays defense and just blames everything on somebody else and chases power. That summarizes the Democrat Party right there. Like she said, when the Republicans don't have the majority of the power in the executive and legislative branches, they find other ways to get things done. It's not easy, but they find ways, because not all of them, there are some dopes in the Republican Party too, but far more of Republican leadership is competent compared to the Democrat Party. I keep saying I don't know who their leader is right now. I think they're embarrassed to wheel anybody out there because everyone is just laughable. And I'm glad Ana Kasparian's waking up to the fact that Democrat politicians, party leaders, mainstream liberal media pundits hate average Americans, including their voters. She's right. They're entitled, and all they care about is power. So they'll say anything they need to, depending on whatever the topic they think people want to hear is in that moment, to get who they believe to be peasants to vote for them. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
You don't vote for us. Look at the other guy. Dangerous. Okay, at some point, voters are going to get sick of that, and they're either not going to show up to vote, or they might actually cast a ballot for the other guy. There's more. So let's talk about the latest reporting from Axios. Recently, Axios reported on a closed-door meeting that House Democrats had this week, where they were essentially engaging in this like gripe fest directed at liberal grassroots organizations. Hakeem Jeffries, of course, was part of that complaint-a-thon. An anonymous senior House Democrat said Jeffries himself is very frustrated at the groups. Resign, step down. You are not fit to be a leader of any party. I mean, much less the PTA. Like, resign. What are you doing? You're frustrated that as the House minority leader, Democratic voters are expecting you to fight back against the Republicans' agenda?
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
Okay. A spokesperson for Jeffries, though, says that characterization was incorrect and stated that the House minority leader had actually spoken to stakeholder groups like MoveOn and Indivisible as recently as Monday. And the co-founder of Indivisible did tell Axios the following: our supporters are asking Democrats to demand specific red lines are met before they offer their vote to House Republicans on the budget. when Republicans inevitably fail to pass the bill on their own. And look, there is truth to that. So, right now, there is some significant infighting in the Republican House caucus, because remember, you have the far right group, the House Freedom Caucus. I mean, they just want to like burn everything down. And they're threatening to vote no on the budget if they don't get everything they want. Well, then you have the more moderate Republicans who serve in swing districts, and they don't want to go that far. So there is a possibility that with the slim majority Republicans have, Democrats could have some leverage. Let's hear about that.
I wish it wasn't true, but she's right. There is some infighting that I don't love in the Republican Party, and that does give potential leverage to the Democrats. The good thing is the Democrats are incompetent and will have no idea how to use that leverage. Can you believe that one report? It said it was a gripe fest at liberal grassroots orgs. Hakeem Jeffries is mad at grassroots organizations, possibly the only people left in America that believe anything good about the Democratic Party. What a shit show. But we want to hear from you. What do you all think about the failing Democrat Party, and what do you think about Ana Kasparian's ire towards it? Let us know. Anyway, as always, really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.